I'm here with 2024 Tony nominee Eden Espinosa. I've been waiting to say Tony nominee.
That's never gonna get old.
How is life as a Tony nominee?
It's great. I mean, it's great. I'm just, these last couple days have been a little crazy and nonstop, but good.
I really wanted to take the time to properly honor your career. I've been a fan for so many years, and I've seen you slay at every one of these theaters. So I think it'd be fun, and we're gonna start right here. This is the Nederlander Theater, very kind of, for me, like a legendary theater because of Rent.
Yes.
Because Rent played here, and you were the final Maureen
I
Johnson.
was.
What are your memories of this theater?
Well, my first trip to New York, I was a senior in high school. One of my best friends in high school and our moms came to New York. All I wanted to do was to see Rent.
Sure.
We bought tickets from a scalper. Thank God they were real. But this was the first Broadway show I ever saw in the Nederlander. So to have a full circle moment and be in the closing cast, it was the summer of dreams. But then to be Idina standby, and I was just, she was everything to me. So there's a lot of special memories tied to that show and to this theater.
And you filmed it.
And it was live capture, yes, one of the first. And so it's like, we always have it forever on film. It was just beautiful.
Do you have any favorite moments of the Maureen track?
This theater, they didn't really fix it up, even in all those years that Rent was running.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of times that the AC would break down, or they'd have to turn it off during certain moments because it was so loud and it was sweaty and hot. And so in La Vie Boheme, when I do the moon, there were several times that I couldn't get my pants back up because I was so sweaty because they would have to turn the AC off. So it's this theater, thank God, has been renovated since then, but it was the epitome of dirt, dust, built up backstage. But it was that, it was so sweaty that I was like, oh, can't get my pants back up. You're welcome.
Tell me a little bit more about that girl from Anaheim who came here to see Rent.
I mean, because on the West Coast, we have touring companies. This was obviously before social media, so all I had was cast albums to listen to and literally lay on my stomach in front of my boom box and just listen and imagine what the production was like, or imagine. And I'd never been to New York, but I knew that once I fell in love with the idea of doing this as a career, I just was I'm going. I knew I was coming. I knew, I had entertained, do I want to go to NYU, or do I want to just audition for that, or just try to start working? And I just tried to start working. And then I made my way over here when I auditioned for the workshop in Brooklyn. That's what brought me here.
I met your parents actually on opening night of Lempicka.
Amazing.
They're adorable.
Yes.
What was their reaction to you being interested in theater as a kid?
I think they had the same concerns that any other parent would have at the time, because it was we didn't know anyone that did this or was successful at it. Yeah, I mean, and so I know that they were wanting me to have a backup plan, and what happens if it doesn't happen, and that was never a thing. I was never what's gonna happen eventually, at some point. And so I think once they saw that I was okay, I was attached to a show that would someday go to Broadway, hopefully, and that I was they would come to visit me here, and they're oh, she's all right. And then they were all right, she's got this.
So here we are, a little bit of Brooklyn on 45th Street.
Yes.
Because this is where Brooklyn, the musical, played, and you were Brooklyn. And this was actually the Plymouth Theater.
Correct.
And became the Schoenfeld
Yes.
during the run, which is funny
because Mark Schoenfeld, I mean, not named after him, but he wrote the show, he wrote Brooklyn, and the music, and the concept was all his. So it was cool that it happened while we were here.
He was here. Yeah. The concept, by the way, was wild.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, Mark, he was homeless for a period of time and would write these stories and perform them for people on the street and for money. And that's how the concept came to be. And him and Barry McPherson, who co-wrote it with him, came up with this sidewalk fairy tale premise.
What?
Hi!
What? That moment.
Hey. That was really cool.
They came up with this sidewalk fairy tale about a Parisian singer named Brooklyn in search for her father, and therein lies the show.
Yeah, the costumes were made.
Yes,
I don't want to say made out of garbage.
Yeah, but they
made
were
out of like
made out
items.
of things that you could get on the street,
Yeah, it was like
find
the
on
best,
the street.
the best drag race challenge
Babe,
ever.
that's right. It was ahead of its time of like make something out of nothing, and these costumes were
Oh my God.
amazing. Just felt like couture gowns made out of the I Heart New York, diner bodega bags and trash bags. And
I remember it so vividly.
Yeah.
What you looked like on
yeah,
that stage.
it was very, very cool.
And we got to see you sing your face off, which is kind of an Eden Espinosa thing.
Yes.
I mean, you really like planted center stage and did this big song Once Upon a Time. I mean, there were a lot of beautiful songs. but-
Yeah. Brooklyn, I mean, was ahead of its time a little bit in the
Yeah.
sense of that style of singing, and it was an interesting journey because I remember there was an article that Ben Brantley wrote saying, I don't remember if it was how American Idol has ruined Broadway or has American Idol ruined Broadway. And there was a picture of me this big and just saying like this style of singing,
Right.
and I just remember being so sad because I was like, why do you have to put my picture right there? But I think, it had this little cult following, and years upon years later, people are just discovering it, and it's a beautiful thing.
The Gershwin, Wicked. You've
My
done
first
that show.
home, my
Your
first home.
Your actual first official
Yes.
Broadway show.
Yep.
And it's like a legacy.
I
Like
know.
endless alphabas, but you were alphaba number 2-ish?
Sure.
And then for many years, alphaba was a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Like how many years of your life, you did a lot of different
I
contracts?
did, yeah. I did a contract every year for 7 years.
Wow.
From 2003 to 2010 in New York, in San Francisco, and Los Angeles.
When you get to do a role like that over all those years, was it fun to sort of like grow with
Yes.
the role?
Yes.
I'm sure.
It was really cool to come back and revisit with more life experience, with more, growth and expansion. And that's part of the reason why I continued to say yes, because I still was like discovering things. I still was like mining for gold. And I stopped when I felt like, I think I've learned all I can from this role, and I think I'm good to like move on.
And the green is finally gone from the pores.
Finally gone.
'Cause it
after
takes
all
a
this
long time.
Yes, yeah, because it unearths after a while. You're still like, oh, I'm still having it on my pillowcases. I'm still, if you're getting a facial and they're like, your pores are actually green. I know.
And you got a lot of alphaba like gifts and trinkets from fans, right?
Yes.
There's like endless.
Yes.
Just like an endless supply.
Yes, I still have a lot of them, but yeah, I'm still getting them. I got, during Lempicka, people gave me a beautiful little witch with the most intricate Act 2 dress and a broom and a hat. Like they're still giving me Wicked gifts, which I love. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
This is an emotional stop on our tour.
is.
The final stop, the Longacre Theater. You just finished a run playing Tamara de Lempicka in Lempicka. You received a Tony Award nomination for your performance, very well deserved, but you're no longer on this stage every night.
Right.
So I'm sure it's tough to just sort of be standing here.
Yeah.
What are the emotions when you see the theater behind you?
It's equally the beautiful thing about theater that it was once here and it was here for that moment and now it's not. I think that's what's beautiful about this industry, but it is also painful to be like, oh, we're not there anymore, and we were just there a few days ago.
Yeah.
And like the fact that you see them loading out the next day, and you're like, well, there it goes.
Tell me I feel like many people have reacted to different things about the story.
Yeah.
What did you react to, and what were you sort of holding to your heart about this woman?
Yeah, the thing that drew me was the music.
Yeah.
It just captivated my spirit in a way that has not a lot of things have.
Yeah.
But for me, the essence of who she was as a survivor, as a businesswoman, all of the qualities that she had, if they were taken out and put in a man's body, it would be admirable. It would be aspiring, and because it was a woman, it's not likable, not attractive. It's too much. I feel like we really portrayed a fully rounded human that was messy and flawed and, you know, made decisions out of necessity and had to deal with the repercussions of that. And I just feel like I'm very proud to portray a fully bodied human who is a woman in this case, a queer woman.
What about being honored? Very exciting. I mean, you know, I know this is a dream.
Yes.
Get a Tony nomination.
It is, absolutely. If I said it wasn't.
Yeah.
For sure. It's a dream, it's an honor, especially just, you know, I've been with Lempicka for 11 years.
Wow.
11 years ago, I did my first reading for it. To have one of the goals be to get here, and we did, and made such a splash within the community is a blessing. And to be honored on top of that is like, very proud of myself, very proud of our show, and yeah.
When you actually take the time to look at your career like we just did over this little walk, how does it feel when you think about that girl that went to the workshop for Brooklyn and all the things you've been able to do and all the fans, Eden Espinosa fans are no joke. How does it feel?
It's very emotional. Because I think sometimes we get caught up on like looking at other people's paths or other people's careers and go, well, I don't have that. That didn't happen for me. And to have this little walk down memory lane, I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the things that I have been fortunate enough to be a part of. I'm very proud of what I do and my contribution. So I hope it's not another 20 years before I originate something in this 10 block radius, but if it is, I know it will be well worth the wait.